Jenny. I'll wait for a few more people just for a little bit because I don't like my videos to go super long with nothing in the beginning. So I'll wait a little bit for others or maybe nobody to log in. Today, we're going to be talking about the John Pelletier lawsuit that he is named in with Diddy. And I'm going to be reading it to you guys, okay? And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My camera is sideways. Sorry, you guys. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right, I'm going to begin. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So, today, this morning, I had posted a reel last night about how John Pelletier was busted because Ariel Mitchell had to supply that sworn testimony where she says that she gave a photo lineup to Ashley Parham, and Ashley Parham identified that it was John Pelletier. Well, the Maui fire chief's wife commented on my reel on Instagram, and she said something to the effect of 60 to 70% of people get I forget the word. Sorry, let me look at the picture. Misidentified. Get misidentified. 60 to 70% of wrongful convictions overturned by DNA evidence involve eyewitness misidentification. Okay, so she left that comment. She does not follow me on Instagram, but she went out of her way to comment on that reel. That was all about Ashley Parham identifying. So I made a reel in response to her, which basically was reading the lawsuit and said, if you were gang Ard, would you remember the face of the man who was supposed to save you? So that inspired me to want to actually read the lawsuit to you guys and actually have it on. Oh, thank you very much. By the way, I'm not good at reading the screen and reading something else at the same time. Thank you very much for the compliment. I really appreciate it. But I'm gonna go ahead and read the Ashley Parham, John Doe and Jane Doe versus Diddy, Christina Coram, Shane Pierce, Ruben Valdez, John Pelletier, Odell Beckham Jr., Drewski, Jacqueline Wright, also known as Jaguar, Helena Harris Scott, Matthias Gonzalez, Brandy Cunningham, Janice Combs, Big Homie Cece, and John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10. So there were other people that was on there. All right, so the beginning of the lawsuit, they identify everybody. And so let's get started. So I don't know if you guys know how this whole lawsuit started. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start by reading what happened with Ashley Parham. So Ashley Parham met the defendant Shane Pierce on February 8, 2018, after an altercation with a man at a bar. So I don't know if it was like her boyfriend and they got into an altercation and Shane Pierce, this man, like stopped and helped her out. So then she was like cruising with him at the bar. Then out of nowhere, Shane FaceTimes Diddy. Okay. So Shane then shows Ashley Parham Diddy on his video call, which Ashley Parham just ignored, right? She wasn't impressed by the fact that Diddy was on the phone call and she said because she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Okay. So all of this stems from this FaceTime call that she would not acknowledge Diddy. And then Diddy was like butthurt. That's fine, Kaden. You can get off. Okay. So, anyways, he's like acting like he's really cool. They're at a party. Like Diddy and his sons are at a party, at a get together, blah, blah, blah. So that's the first time. Now we're going to fast forward to March 23rd. They had to lay the groundwork as to why Diddy was picking her. So on March 23rd, 2018, Shane Pierce invited Ashley Parham over to his house to assist him with cancer medications because he was too weak and unstable to open his medications. So that's another thing too. It's like, okay, this guy who has cancer, like, is he still alive? Because this was back in 2018. What kind of cancer was it? Was the whole cancer thing a lie? There's so much stuff to the story that we really need to find out or really want to find out. So when she got to his house, right, he wanted to show off his new car. She later says she believes the new car he's showing her is a car that was a gift to him from Diddy for the gang R that he's going to do to Ashley Parham. Okay. So they go for a ride. He wants to show off his car. They go for a ride. They come back. Once they come back in the house, he doesn't close. He says he left the door to his apartment partially open and said that the door was ajar because there was an issue with the door where it wouldn't close completely. He was renting an apartment on the lower floor of a home in Orinda, California, and he had a separate entrance into his residence that led to the backyard of the home, and the home had a main entrance on Loma Vista Drive. He rented from the home from a woman who lived in the upstairs portion and who had two dogs that lived with her. They started to watch a movie, Shane Pierce and her. And it says Shane offered her a glass of water. Now, if you guys don't know, Diddy is known for drugging his victims by offering them a clear substance like water or alcohol, and it's drugged, laced with something that basically puts his victims down. Okay. So he offers her a thing of water. I don't know if which he retrieved and brought back to Ashley Parham. So it does seem as if she drank the water. Approximately 10 minutes later, um, Diddy Diddy walks into the house like in this grandiose fashion. Okay. Diddy walks in, enters in a ready to party manner in a grandiose entrance. And so the dogs upstairs start barking really loud. They came in, they did not enter through the backyard, but instead through the main entrance. Along with Diddy was Big Homie Cece, Christina Coram, Brandy Cunningham, defendant Dotu, which means somebody who's unidentified, who I guess is later identified as Diddy's driver, and he's a friend. And he remained outside in the vehicle during Ashley Parham's assault. Ashley Parham believes that Shane invited her over specifically to set her up to be assaulted by Diddy. And upon his arrival, he immediately began to antagonize Ashley Parham, stating that she thought she would never see him in person and that she was going to pay for her statements about Tupac Shakur during the video call that Diddy caught her. He caught her, okay? Ashley Parham was like shook. She never believed that she ever would have seen Diddy, ever met Diddy. So she's just kind of like shocked and taken aback, right? Then he begins advancing towards her. And Ashley Parham was sitting on Shane's bed. And Diddy approaches her with a knife and he held it to the right side of her face and he threatened that he was going to give her a Glasgow smile. So as a retaliation to her response to the video call. So the Glasgow is the Joker face. Okay. Christina Coram then threatens Ashley Parham that they can have her shipped off to anywhere. Suggesting sex trafficking. Blah 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 blah. Shane then so then Shane Pierce then starts to undress Ashley Parham. Diddy removes the rest of her clothes, removes the knife from her face, and then retrieves a big bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. We now know it to be baby oil, right? Because we now know from the federal case where so many people are testifying that he loves baby oil, loves baby oil. Diddy then squirts the bottle of liquid onto Ashley Parham, which scared her because she thought it was going to be a chemical substance like acid. She soon realized, though, that it was some form of oil or lubricant. You guys are funny. My eyelashes are going to fall. Don't care. Let's get back to the gang rape. Anyways, plaintiff was squirted with the substance all over her entire naked body. So she's naked. And you guys are talking disgusting things. Gross. While we're literally talking about a gang R. Anyways, Christina Coram then was told by Diddy to insert a syringe from a sterile package into Parham's vagina. So Christina Coram did. She went to insert this thing, which is supposedly an IUD. Went to insert it with her. This girl, Brandon Cunningham, was helping her. But then when they went to do it, they realized that something was wrong with the IUD and that it couldn't be used. So then this upset Diddy. And Diddy took it away from Christina Coram and went and shoved it into Ashley Parham's vag, like violently was doing that, okay? And was trying to, he was doing it, and so Christina Coram and him was arguing because she was like, "Stop doing that because you could damage the goods. Because if they wanted to sell her, they could for SEX trafficking." Okay, and so finally he stops. He's upset. He's not happy, but he stops. And so Christina Coram and Brandy, they exit the residence, and so now Ashley Parham is only in there with Diddy, Shane, and a bunch of men that she doesn't even know. Okay. Then Diddy picks up a television remote and he places it in her, we're going to say punani. That's the Hawaiian word for vagina. Okay. Places it, so he starts violently R-wording her with a remote control in her punani. She's crying hysterically and he's like threatening her. And she's just like, she's already in pain from the IUD syringe that they tried. She has blood curdling cries. Shane Pierce then grabs her by her abdomen and hips and turns her onto her stomach, to which Diddy told him to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her crying. And then Diddy instructed Shane Pierce to R-word her in her behind, to which he did. Okay. Shane was told to do that. He did it. Then after Shane Pierce did it, Diddy followed him up and violently did the same thing, R-worded her in her behind. Then he invited another man who she doesn't know who he is and told him to also do the same thing, violently R-word her in her behind. After that, he instructed another man to come and R-word her. And after that is when he had Drewski. Okay. It was Drewski's turn. So this is the part that has been talked about, the slip and slide. I don't know if you guys are aware about, but this is where this reference comes from. So anyways, he douses Ashley Parham with a bunch more of baby oil. And he goes and he uses her as like a slip and slide. But because he's like so big, it like takes the wind out of her even more. So at this point, we know she's been drugged. She's already mentally not there. She's receiving a very traumatic experience that's happening, right? And it takes the wind off of her, treats her like a slip and slide, knocking the wind out of her due to his enormous size. Then he caught himself from sliding off of her oiled body and off the bed. He then began R-wording her in her punani. While he was R-wording her, Diddy sat in the chair near the bed and began self-pleasuring himself while Drewski was R-wording her. Now, if you guys haven't been paying attention in the federal trial right now, there has so much testimony of Diddy sitting in the corner watching as Cassie was having SEX with male escorts, watching as Jane Doe, who's currently on the stand, would have SEX with male escorts. He would be self-pleasuring in the corner. So the fact that a lot of things that she states in this lawsuit is also being testified on the stand, sworn testimonies, makes it even more valid, this lawsuit that's coming up, okay? Another part, so some other person's phone, their phone fell near the bed. So Ashley Parham saw it and she was trying to grab it, okay? She attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil. Now, if you guys don't remember, Cassie testified on the stand that Diddy loved her oiled up. He wanted her glistening. He always wanted her glistening. It is very horrific. So it fell on the hand due to the oil lubricant that was doused all over herself by Diddy and Drewski. Diddy began laughing at Ashley Parham's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout this whole violent gang R, Diddy made constant belittling remarks to Ashley Parham, saying he owned her now. Disgusting. At some point during this ordeal, Ashley Parham referred to Ashley Parham remembers another man. This is when Odell Beckham comes in and remembers the other men referring to Odell Beckham Jr. as Cornelius. Now, in this lawsuit, it states that everyone used their middle name as their code names. And so Cornelius is the middle name of Odell Beckham Jr. She thought that it was odd and a unique name. And that's how they came to find out that it was him who R-worded her. Her body was becoming more and more limp over the course of the violent R until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move her body anymore. Drewski finished R-wording her, and then Christina Coram entered the room to examine the condition of Ashley Parham, who is barely able to move or control her bodily functions. So once again, Christina Coram has been named numerous of times on the witness stand in the federal trial. She's named here doing exactly the same things that she's named doing in his federal case. Okay. Christina Coram examined Ashley Parham to see if she needed any assistance, if she needed any IV fluids. She couldn't be certain. She can't even be certain whether or not she got IV fluids because she was so out of it. She had no idea what was going on. She opened up a bag that had all kinds of medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other unidentifiable powder-like drugs. Okay, if you guys are following the federal trial, he likes to have a whole array of drugs. It is known that he carries this bag that has all the things in it. So once again, adding more validity to this lawsuit. Christina then removed a pill from one of the medicine bottles and gave it to Diddy. Diddy inserted the pill into Ashley Parham's mouth and down her throat to where she had no choice but to ingest the unknown pill. Diddy, Shane, Christina Coram, Odell Beckham, and Drewski then exited the residence to the backyard where they were smoking marijuana and cigarettes. Ashley Parham remained almost in a lifeless state in his bedroom until she finally regained bodily functions. She began looking for her clothes and for her purse that contained her car keys, her cell phone, but she couldn't find them anywhere in the bedroom. She was only able to find a t-shirt on the floor. So she put the t-shirt on to cover her. She also observed one black condom wrapper on the floor. It was most likely used by defendant Diddy, but who knows, because I don't know if you realize he doesn't actually like to use condoms. Like in his federal case, he's had Jane Doe, who's testifying right now, said that she asked if the male escorts could use a condom, and Diddy would deny her. Said no, they cannot, male escorts. She had to sleep with them without a condom. Okay. Okay. She found a knife. So she puts the shirt on. She found a knife. There was these other people. Now this is John and Jane Doe, who she doesn't even know yet. There's these other people in the room. And she starts heading towards the backyard, but they're like, hey, there's a knife. Okay. So she grabs the knife and she hides it underneath the shirt. So she walks out to the back area where they are. They're all smoking. They're all like acting as if nothing happened. Okay. She's walking up trying to compose herself, basically. None of them see that she has a knife underneath her shirt. Diddy is still partially nude from the assault, whereas everybody else is already clothed. So that is what Drewski, Odell Beckham Jr., and I think and Shane Pierce. They're all clothed. Diddy's the only one. Of course, he's not clothed at all. So Shane walked away, Christina Coram and Brandy walked away. So they went upstairs to the patio. And then she made a seat in the backyard next to Diddy. And Diddy said he's surprised that she could even walk because he gave her enough drugs to take out a horse. Ashley Parham then asked Diddy what he gave to her, and he laughed and he did not provide a response. Diddy then made further comments to Ashley Parham in a friendly, jovial manner, asking her why had they never partied together, because it was so much fun and he hadn't had any ass like that in a while. Big homie Cece then quips at Diddy that he probably hasn't had an ass that tight because he's not used to having anal sex with women, insinuating that Diddy likes to have sex with men. Okay. Then Ashley Parham gets mad. She's like, I didn't party with you. You guys violently gang-armed me. I didn't want to do any of this. Okay. So she gets enraged and she's yelling at him that she was R-worded, that none of this was consensual. Um, oh, because he was trying to tell her that she was just a sex worker. Okay. And so Diddy told her that no one was ever gonna believe her, that he had R-worded her, and that if he did, that he would harm her family. To which right there, big homie Cece walks up and shows his phone. And on the phone is a video footage of her sister in real time at her house and her husband. And they're Diddy's basically telling her, if you ever rat me out, we're going after your family. So she sees it and she gets scared. She's just like, whoa, what the hell? But then at the same time, she's still angered by the fact that she was just violently gang art. Okay. It says, while rattled by what she was seeing on the phone, she was so angry about being gang art and was not complying to his request because he was trying to offer her money. He wanted her to offer her. Oh my God. Because I mean, you know what? I'm getting YouTube is saying, okay, YouTube is giving me a thing. Oh, how long would I be banned? Okay, I won't say the S word or the R word. I gotta be really careful. Great. Thank you. Well, how do you guys know how long these bans take? Let me try to screenshot that. Okay. I hope it's fake. I really hope it's fake. Okay, anyways, so they were trying to pay her off. Oh, a few. Thank you. I hope it's fake, but I hope it's only for a few hours. But oh yeah, or what? Or I assume they would just shut me off, right? I'll just keep going until they do shut me off if it's real, and then I guess I'll deal with the consequences. Good. I hope it's a. I hope it's. I'm just gonna go until it shuts me down. As far as it tells me I'm still alive, I will just be very careful not to say the bad words. Okay. Anyways, Diddy's like, I got off from bigger crimes than this, referring to Tupac, further antagonizing. I hope it's not real. Further antagonizing Ashley Parham. Okay. So then now, okay. Sorry, let's kind of regroup. Basically, they're in the backyard. Diddy, right, is like trying to offer her money, trying to have her sign an NDA, and is like, hey, listen, say that you're a SEX worker and that just take this money and don't report him to law enforcement. And she's like, F that, I'm gonna report you. You guys ard me, gang ard me. This isn't right. He calls his mom, Janice Combs, up on the phone and basically is like telling him to talk to her. So then Ashley Parham tells the mom, she's like, hey, your son just gang ard me. Da 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 da. And the mom starts going crazy and she's like, you leave my son alone. Don't touch my son. Just take the money. Don't report him. Da da. And she starts going off, which is weird. But if you guys watch their relationship's weird as it is. Okay. So that's going on. And then Ashley Parham's like, I'm going to report you to law enforcement. And that's when he laughs and he's like, I've gotten off of bigger things, insinuating Tupac's death. And boom, right there, big homie CC gets pissed. And he's like, wait, what? He's like, he's like, are you admitting to that you killed Tupac? And so then now big homie CC and Diddy is going at it. They're going at it. So then now big homie CC puts his GUN up to Diddy, okay? And and he's like being aggressive with Diddy. Ashley Parham now kind of feels a little bit like she's safe from big homie Cece, and she gets like behind him, and he kind of does tuck her behind him. As that's happening, the neighbor comes up to the fence. A neighbor comes up and is like, hey, what's all that commotion over there? Big homie Cece takes his GUN, faces it to the neighbor, and is like, mind your business, okay? And so he minds his business and he leaves. So in the meantime, they go back to their little altercation. Now Ashley Parham kind of sees a chance to like do something. So as big homie Cece is facing his GUN at Diddy, she kind of sees her chance and she goes for his GUN. It sets it off, it shoots off, and then everybody starts running. Okay. So then Diddy, here, let's read this part because this is when her knife comes in handy. Okay. Um, oh, yeah. They start running. They scatter. Okay. Ashley Parham then pushes Diddy from behind while on the stone stairs outside. So like they all scatter and Diddy goes towards the stairs. She comes from behind him and she goes to push him down, causing him to fall with his back to Ashley Parham. Ashley Parham then raises a knife in a rage from the events that just transpired with the intent of driving the knife into Diddy's back when he turns around and begins pleading for his life like a little girl. Ashley Parham is now shocked to see Diddy acting as if he's a victim. And at that moment, it just kind of jars her and she has this moment of clarity. And right then, he turns around, he turns his back and he starts running, right? Yeah. No, yeah, he starts running. So she goes to chase him and he goes to push her, but she grazes him on his abdomen with her knife. And so hearing the commotion, Christina Coram and Brandy emerges and they begin administering first aid to Diddy to the injuries that Ashley Parham did. So Ashley Parham makes a quick dash for the exit, but it was thwarted by another man, some man she doesn't know, Defendant Doe. After a period of time, Ashley Parham was able to abscond from Defendant Doe due to the first aid commotion with Diddy and was able to run down the street. So what I'm hearing is he should have a scar of some form, right, on his abdomen that could prove that. Once Ashley Parham made it onto the street, she began yelling loudly for someone to call the police. Defendant Doe had now caught up with Ashley Parham, advised her that he was an undercover cop. To this day, Ashley Parham is unsure of the truth or falsity of that statement. Now, the same neighbor that had came over and was like, hey, what's the commotion? Is instantly like, hey, she sees him and he's like waving her over. It's like, come here, you're safe. So they go to his house. And so now she's in his house and he's like, don't worry, I called the cops. Everything is okay. Okay. Ashley informed the neighbor that it was Sean Combs who had gang-ard her and shot at them, but the neighbor was unaware who Diddy was, which makes me think that what? The neighbor is an older man. So at this point, she can hear SUVs fleeing, okay, like driving fast away from the scene. Shortly thereafter, a sheriff from the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department arrives at the neighbor's home. Ashley Parham identifies the person who arrived at the neighbor's home posing as a Contra Costa sheriff as Defendant John Pelletier. If you're unaware, John Pelletier is Maui's current police chief, okay? So he's got a lot of scandals surrounding him. This included. Sorry, I need some water. So Ashley Parham thinks she's saved. She's like, thank God I'm saved. The sheriff is here to protect me. She begins telling him her story. Parched. I need some water. Okay. Believing that he is the sheriff from the local police, she begins telling him that she was violently gang-ard by Diddy and others, and that she does not have her clothes, her phone, her purse, her car keys, or her cell phone. John Pelletier, falsely posing as the sheriff, tells her that they received several noise complaints and instructed Ashley Parham to find a way to get home. The sheriff, John Pelletier, did not offer to take her home. He did not call for any emergency services, including an ambulance, nor offer to take her to a hospital or to recover her clothes and effects from Shane's residence. The Contra Costa sheriffs have confirmed that a police report was made that night by plaintiff Parham. I agree with you, Funky, one for one. And the reason why I agree that this is credible is because all the research I've done into the legal aspects, they say that the more specific a lawsuit is, brings the more credibility to that lawsuit. So she is highly specific. Sorry. In this lawsuit, she is very, very specific. Okay, so now John Pelletier, she witnesses John Pelletier hand something to the neighbor. This is all in the house, okay? It looked like an envelope, but he handed it to him as he was walking out of the house. The neighbor went to a nearby room and quickly returned empty-handed. Plaintiff believes the envelope contained cash. So, first of all, this Diddy trial, one of the first people, I think he was the first persons to testify, was the security guard who was there in March of 2016. Pretty sure it was March when Diddy beat up Cassie in the hotel. Diddy, he's the one, a security guard who was there, went up to the room and had to, settle the altercation. And Diddy tried to bribe him with thousands of dollars. You can see it. I want to say you can see it on the video. I have the video. It's on my page. Attempts to bribe him. That security guard today is now a Los Angeles police officer. Okay. So right there, boom, we have one sworn testimony that he attempts to bribe. Okay. Next, we just had Lopez, who just took the stand last week, who testified that Diddy paid him, I forget how much money. I want to say 50,000, maybe less, but it's somewhere around that area, to retrieve that Cassie and Diddy altercation in the hotel. And that man, Lopez, did sell that video to Diddy. So we have two sworn testimonies in the federal court that shows that Diddy will pay money to hide evidence. Okay, so that makes her lawsuit sound even more credible. All right. So he goes in the room, the neighbor puts away the envelope, he comes back empty-handed. So now Ashley Parham's like, that's weird. So the guy's like, oh, you're okay. You can stay here. You don't need to leave. She's like, no, I'm good. So she leaves. Now, this is where it gets weird. She leaves because she heard all the cars go, right? And she goes back to Shane Pierce's residence to go and see if she can find her car keys, her cell phone, her clothes. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Separate case. Anyways, she goes back and Shane Pierce is there. We're going to read this. Shane then emerges from his residence as if nothing had happened and offered Ashley Parham to stay at his residence while she can sleep it off. Ashley Parham asked for her purse and for her keys, but Shane told her that she shouldn't leave in her condition. And in her catatonic state of shock and disbelief of the events that transpired, she stayed at the home and defendant Sean left his own residence. And it sounds like she just like passed out. In the morning, Shane came back and returned, woke her up, gave her back her purse, her cell phone, and her keys, and she left. From there, she went home. She tried to figure out what happened. Now, this was March 23rd is when this happened, okay? On March 26th, she contacted her primary care doctor and asked for an HIV and STD test in fear of possibly contracting a disease from her violent R word. So sad. She tried to continue her life as she felt she wouldn't be believed because she thought she had already spoken to the sheriff and he didn't believe, and she told him that he gang-armed her and he didn't even believe her. So she doesn't know that this fake sheriff was John Pelletier and he wasn't really the sheriff, okay, at the time. She's thinking that's really the sheriff. And she's like, I literally told them what happened to me and he didn't do shit for me. You know what I mean? So she's basically lost her faith in law enforcement. So it says, in mere days, Oh yeah, this is when it talks about Shane was driving the new car. She ended up going to the hospital where she got several tests done. She got a rape kit, ultrasound, and x-rays. She was given IV fluids to stabilize her vitals as she was in a severe weakened state from being unable to eat, and she lost a substantial amount of weight since the R word. So just really quick, she went to her primary care doctor not on the 26th, or she called then, but she didn't actually go in and have the rape kit done until like I want to say a week or two later. So by then, kind of the evidence of what would have been in there was gone. And so I believe when I watched the interview on YouTube that the her test results came back inconclusive because it had been kind of too long, but it is documented that she did go and she did get all of those things. Hi from Long Island. Thanks for joining. Alrighty, so now she's still at the hospital. While at the hospital, Ashley Parham told members of her treatment team about her horrific assault, so they contacted the Walnut Creek police. The Walnut Creek police showed up to the hospital room and took a statement from her. And when she did this, though, she only said that Shane Pierce and another man, it says Doe, John Doe, is who R'd her. So she didn't even tell him that it was Diddy because she honestly felt they weren't going to believe her because she already told the sheriff and the sheriff didn't believe her. Ashley Parham believes her statements made to Walnut Creek Police was captured on body cam footage. So lawyers can subpoena that. Okay. Ashley further believes that her statements made on March 23rd, immediately after the vicious attack, may be captured on body cam footage. But upon determining that the sheriff was defendant Pelletier, she does not believe it was captured because he's a co-conspirator. Gotcha. So basically, she's saying she thought that it was captured on his body cam, but then she found out that John Pelletier was on Diddy's team. So Ashley Parham filed a police report with the Orinda Police Department on April 17, 2018. So that's already 7 plus 24 days later. So it's already 24 days after her vicious attack. She goes and she files the report. She was too afraid, however, to name Diddy as one of the assailants. This is really important. So listen to this. During the report, plaintiff provided her clothing to the police from the night of the assault, but they only kept her underwear. To date, the underwear was never returned, and the plaintiff believes no investigation was ever commenced. So, in this Diddy federal trial, it has been on the stand saying that he would bribe law enforcement. There is a lot of evidence to show that Diddy kept being shielded and protected by corrupt law enforcement agencies. In March 2024, Ashley Parham was re-traumatized by all of the events surrounding Diddy because of the civil complaints that was being filed against him. Oh, and because of because he had the raids at his house. So Ashley Parham once again called the Contra Costa sheriffs in hopes of renewing her previous complaint and amending it to add Diddy's name. She received no response from the sheriff. In July 2024, she emailed the chief of the sheriff's office regarding her complaint that a lack of investigation and how she was treated by the initial responding officer. She later received a call from a detective, but nothing further. Plaintiff then began seeking legal counsel for her claims, ultimately being referred to Ariel Mitchell. Ariel Mitchell attempted to get a copy of that 2018 police report from Contra Costa Sheriff, but was told that she would need to provide the report and a report or that she could not get the report without a subpoena. So it appears to me that a bunch of different law enforcement people were corrupt, bribed. We're all in it. So they gave her clothes back, but they kept her underwear. Highly suspicious. If there's going to be DNA anywhere, where's the DNA going to be? On her underwear? But they got it. And now they won't give her. What's highly suspicious is that they won't give her, the lawyers, her police report. That is literally public record. That is privy to the whole public. So that is only the first part of the lawsuit. The second part of the lawsuit is John and Jane Doe's. Okay. I don't have enough time to read that, but I will hopefully do that tomorrow or Friday maybe. But I really want to get this lawsuit out, and I want people to know about it, because here in Maui, we are dealing with the fact that we have a corrupt police chief. Thank you, Kim. Hi, Melissa. Thank you. I don't think it's a conspiracy either. It's a real life, literal conspiracy. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that Ashley Parham was brave enough to come forward and actually reveal. And in case you guys don't know, those viewers who are watching me, on June 2nd, Ariel Mitchell had to, what do you call that? File into this lawsuit, and it tells you exactly why John Pelletier, Andrewski, and Odell Beckham Jr. was added to this lawsuit. And basically, John and Jane Doe, who we haven't covered yet, that's the second half of the lawsuit. They knew these people who were there. So John Pelletier used to be in Vegas. He used to be a captain in Vegas. The second half of the lawsuit, he holds them by gunpoint and takes them from Vegas to California to this house to be also S-aid by one of the men in here in the lawsuit. Okay. And so they contacted Ashley Parham's lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, and they are the ones who sent John Pelletier's photograph along with another officer. So what Ariel Mitchell did is she got Ashley Parham. Now, mind you, Ashley Parham is separate from John and Jane Doe. They don't know each other. They haven't met. Separately, Ariel Mitchell gathered a lineup of photographs of men in thanks for filtering them. Men in uniforms, security guards, officers. And she did a photograph lineup with Ariel Mitchell. And Ariel Mitchell identified John Pelletier. He is the only one that she could identify, actually, was John Pelletier. And so that is how we know. We're slowly getting vindication, kind of, as to how, because everybody wondered, why was he named in a lawsuit? And it's like, slowly the pieces are revealing themselves to us. And it's like, oh, okay, you should hear. Thank you for commenting, Funky 141. And so I'm keeping an eye on the docket. I will keep you guys posted. My page is dedicated to revealing the facts and truth about John Pelletier, my police chief, because he's also was here for the Lahaina wildfires. He was also involved with the big massacre shooting up in Vegas. And so those are three really big things to happen to just one person. Oh, aloha, Robert Yarro. And I think it's highly suspicious. And I know for a fact, because I've done so many interviews, he is a corrupt individual, and he is padded by many corrupt individuals in Maui who are in positions of power, such as the police commission, Moana Ludi, who is the county clerk, and they're all padding him, and they're shielding him from accountability, and they're protecting him, right? But as days go by, the police commission, the mayor sent a letter to them. So the police commission is his boss. They're the only ones who can hire and fire him. The mayor, when this got released and amended with his name in it, he sent the police commission a letter saying he needs to be placed on administrative leave. And they had a meeting, and all his minions showed up, and they all testified. Moana Ludi, who is the Maui County clerk, she went in there and she said, this thing is fake. Anybody can file a lawsuit. She said that it's a pro se lawsuit. Anybody can do a pro se. Well, pro se means you don't need to have a lawyer. Like anybody can just frivolous lawsuits. That was a completely misguided misrepresentation. No, yeah. It was all his friends who would cheerlead for him. Is everybody who came and testified. And so Moana Ludi, going back to her, she testified that basically, and here's the thing about her being county clerk is prior to county clerk, she was corp counsel, which means she was a lawyer for Maui County for 27 years. So the amount of weight that she had when she was telling the police commission that this case was frivolous, it's just nothing. This case is nothing. So what happened? The police commission voted unanimously 7-0 not to place him on administrative leave, not to even open up their own independent review or investigation. 7-0. Tell me something is corrupt without telling me something is corrupt. You mean to tell me 7 people and not one person had a reservation? Not one person was like, well, let's kind of check and see. Let's see the validity of this lawsuit. No, all of them was just like, oh, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. He shouldn't be. He's fine. They're all a club. They're a club. They're a team of people. They're all a club of corrupt people that behind closed doors, they do all their dirty little things. So that's why my job is to bring to you guys the facts and to show you that they are corrupt and they are dirty. Thank you so much. Mahalo, mahalo to everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you guys. You know, I'm not active on YouTube as much as Instagram just because it's longer form videos and I need to get the time to do that. But I am, yes, I agree with you, Indian Summer. The people who voted was Janet Kuahara, Stacy Moniz, Frank Dorego Jr., Frank Tam, Lahela Iwohi, Keola Moat, and Bill Richardson. Bill Richardson. Yeah. Those are the 7 members that were there that day that voted unanimously. No, I will not stand up for your pleasure. Anyways, thank you. Aloha, aloha, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo to the lohui. I appreciate all of you. Tune in next time when I bring even more John Pelletier or Diddy news or Maui news. Mahalo, aloha.